Hello, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Beyond the Summit presentation of the Starladder I-League Chinese group stage here, and we're going to be looking at Insane Buster versus the Wings Gaming for our next Best of Two series. So, thank you guys once again for tuning in. We had a great series between Fan Chuan and CDEC.Y Youth Squad, and while that was pretty fast-paced and went one way very, very quickly, won't spoil it, but I expect this one to be even more interesting. The drafting of these two teams is very diverse, and generally speaking, just on point with penetrating the weakness that the other one's trying to bring up. So one will, I think, Insane Buster's probably going to look to throw Wings a couple curveballs, throw them off balance a little bit, and Wings just going to cut straight to the heart of things. But without further ado, let's hop into the draft. Once again, I am Blaze, and this is Insane Buster drafting up a Darkseer Wyvern. More traditional than I expected from them, considering the last two drafts are quite off the wall, but maybe they're just waiting till Phase 2 to drop some bombs on us. For now, the Wings Gaming opening up with the Shadow Fiend. First pick, banning out the Night Stalker and the Undying. Just really aggressive, active early game support slash offlane heroes. Tusk of Doom, pretty understandable bans for a second pick team. Going with the Darkseer Wyvern, though. Really just having faith in that strength. Darkseer, great on his own. Wyvern, great on his own. Put them together, you've got a hell of a combo. So, we're going to be seeing the second pick come out, and with great delay from the Wings Gaming. Actually curious what's taken so long here, if they didn't expect such hostility from the enemy team in terms of AoE control. But gonna go with the Spirit Breaker, obviously good against the Wyvern. Wyvern does not have a natural disable. But I see no reason why Insane Buster can't just go for one of the drafts that Fan Chuan just pulled out, which featured a Earthshaker on top. Earthshaker, Fisher, great for canceling out the Spirit Breaker charge. You could still go for the Ember Spirit too. Ember Spirit's Searing Chains are pretty solid in that regard as well. So either the Earthshaker or the Ember Spirit could be a good pickup here in Phase 2, and both synergize perfectly well with the Darkseer Vacuum. They're going to ban out the Ancient Apparition. Are they looking at an Alchemist is a real question of mine. Because the Huskar already is off the table, so the other hero that's just as hard countered by Ancient Apparition would be that Alchemist. It does have some great AoE abilities as well. The Acid Spray, and then you can group them up for the Concoction AoE Stun. So I think that could be pretty strong. Shadow Fiend's pretty good against Alchemist mid, though. Able to harass him harder than most other heroes with his Shadow Raises, and then, of course, looking to steal his stacks within the first 10 minutes of the game. So, hesitancy right now, banning out the Ancient Apparition and the Wraith King, and they end up just going for themselves a TA. So, these supports, or slash cores, obviously the Wraith King was a carry position in our previous game, but they can be played as both, and I would say that both of them have not only strength in the fact that they bring multiple instances of damage to their spells that would break down the refraction pretty early on, but just in general they can synergize really well with the Spirit Breaker initiation. You charge, you Ice Blast on top, and
10 seconds
yeah, it's just something that they're not wanting to deal with in that extent. Also, they look to be kind of looking to burst heroes down pretty quickly. Wraith King's ability to reincarnate back in the fight would kind of pose a problem with that. You can't really Wyvern ulti him and kill him off and then say, okay, well, we've won the fight, because he's coming right back at you. On the other hand, you could say Dazzle could do the same thing, and they didn't prioritize that hero in the banning phase. So Dazzle's still a strong pick here in my mind. Shallow Grave is really good against Insane Buster's current lineup. I mean, you can even go for level 1 Poison Touch and just annoy the hell of the TA mid. So that gives you some good means of guaranteeing the Shadow Fiend early souls. So I'm all on board for the Dazzle pick, but they're tapping into reserve time once again to figure it out for sure.
10 seconds remaining.
Last 8 seconds, I'll go for the Dazzle. I really don't understand why their base are taking so long, but they want to make sure they're not leaving any loose ends. That's why they ban out heroes like Gyrocopter and Huskar, which could give them some difficulty. But instead, Insane Busters go for the Templar Assassin as well as the Slark. Get to see CSMJ doing some work on the Slark in the previous game as well. So, all in all, Slark is okay against this lineup. He's good in the fact that they cannot ground target disable him. That's important during Shadow Dance when you obviously can't click the hero. But at the same time, you've got abilities like Requiem, which will take out half of Slark's damage output since he's almost exclusively running base damage instead of any bonus from items. Along with that Requiem factor, you also have to figure the next 2 picks will be able to do some work against him. That being said, Ancient Apparition did get banned out. That's probably one of the better heroes to have against the Slark. So with that kind of foresight, looking into their fourth pick here, they should be able to really rely on these cores to take it mid to late game, especially against Ember Shadow Fiend. Now, I will note that Ember Spirit is a little bit more slippery than most of these other heroes, so essentially what you're looking at is if he gets a Lincoln Sphere this game after his Battle Fury, there's almost no way to pin him down. You can't jump him, you can't pounce doesn't mean really much of anything to him. So yeah, I feel like Ember has some great strength, and of course, he's going to be able to farm with the safe lane very nicely. Slardar actually still in the pool, interestingly enough. Obviously they have the Darkseer pick up early on for the side of Insane Buster, so they probably don't want to pick up a hero like Slardar. But the Wings Gaming could still go for like a dual lane. The Slardar Spirit Breaker pretty strong. Insane Buster going for the Bane. Chen's actually going to be the pickup. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This changes the tempo of everything that I had in mind. We're going to see Ice Ice's Chen. Not to be confused with Ice Ice Ice, the VG Gaming player, but still a support player that's been prevalent throughout the Chinese scene throughout these past couple of years. There's actually a lot of players named Ice in some fashion or another. So, we're going to be seeing Chen in action here as the support in the jungle. Dazzle, of course, making his moves in the safe lane, supporting Shadow, who's going to be running on that Ember Spirit. Faith Beyond, who will take the off lane with the Spirit Breaker, and the Shadow Fiend player will be doing his best in the mid lane. I don't think they're going to get many opportunities to zone the TA unless Chen gets good harassing creeps. If Chen finds an opportunity to, say, throw a Wild Wing Tornado out towards the TA or multiple shockwaves to harass her or something like that, then I could see TA struggling a little bit. But for the most part, if Chen is focusing on his own build-up, his own farm progression, which he probably should, considering how fast he can die if he doesn't have any items, yeah, I'm a little bit worried that the lane might get out of control for the TA. So, we'll keep an eye on early progression here. It looks like we are lagging a little bit, though, guys. And for those that have tuned in the stream, you know what that means. Over the past few days, we've experienced a lot of these little red number connection problems, as you see, disconnecting in the top right corner. So that means I'm going to go ahead and restart Dota 2. So, photographing, in my mind, the drafts, and we're going to be jumping into a quick break. So, going to go ahead. We're not going to jump to music or anything like that, but I am going to have to restart Dota 2. And we'll come back with we'll essentially be missing the first 2 minutes of the game. It is unfortunate. I hate to leave it like that, but the alternative is we have massive lag in Heroes Frozen constantly. The reason for this is mostly due to the way that Perfect World connects to certain internet connections. The servers, Chinese servers are called Perfect World servers. That's the company that maintains them. And through the Great Firewall of China, there is some difficulty getting to the Western world. And sometimes packets get lost, connections fail, and in this case I'm just running on my ISP in particular is having a bad connection to this particular Chinese server. So we're going to go for a reboot. Most of the time this fixes it, but no guarantees. And if this one reboot doesn't work, then we'll just have to cast with all the lag in the world applied. So we'll do our best. But it's definitely worth it, at least just going for this quick 2-minute restart. In the meantime, talking about the picks a little bit as I wait for everything to load back up. Looks like I'm having a couple things not responding, which is probably the worst thing possible. But yeah, switching over to this camera here, so you can see my not so lovely face, we're going to be looking at a Chen game with a Dazzle behind it. Not a lot of disable, to be honest with you, not a lot of controlling aspects, especially against that Slark. Like, the Chen doesn't bring any extra disable against him. The Centaur stuns are pretty unreliable in this context. But I expect the Slark to have to go at least Hand of Midas to deal with the Chen creeps a little bit more directly. And come on, Steam. Do your thing. Anyways, so I figure Hand of Midas on the Slark will be a must-have, and that's going to slow his aggressive items out a little bit, so he's not going to be just rushing out of Shadow Blade and looking for kills. He's going to be building himself up with the Midas. He's going to be going for a kind of a mid-game build. And then by that point, you're going to see Chen have enough money and funds to support a lot of Observer Sentry duos. While these won't catch Slark by surprise because of his Shadow Dance passive, they will do enough to really inhibit his aggression and overall maintain map control. Later on, you're probably going to have to carry a gem on a hero like Spearbreaker. He kind of goes into a lot of fights very aggressively, so this might not be the best move, but it might be their only option if they really want to maintain map control and also make sure that both the Meld and the Shadow Blade are not a factor in terms of finding kills on those cores. Alright, into Dota 2, reconnecting into the game, and we'll be back in soon. Again, this does miss a couple minutes. We may miss first blood kill, but I do want to make sure that we have a picture-perfect Dota 2 experience for you guys. For first series, we only had a little bit of lag. A couple of fights, we lost some spells or particles, but for the most part, it was pretty good, and hopefully we'll be seeing that in this second set as well. So as far as advantage in the draft, it really comes down to momentum. The Radiant have a lot of potential if they can end the game early before Sark comes online, but I feel like just by default right now, the Ember Spirit isn't aggressive enough in the first 20 minutes of the game to really cement any objective advantage. They're relying entirely on the Chen to push down those towers. So overall, I think that Dire and Insane Buster have the better chance of taking this game. But speaking of the game, we are in. Let's get some in-game audio, and let's get back on track. So, there was a kill. Oh, forgot about that part. Boom. Alright, so the first kill of the game went to the Bane. 4 assists, so it looks like it was a level 1 play killing off this Sphere Breaker. So it looks like a level 1 rotation or a Bounty Rune action. Caught out Faith Beyond, and we got to see Bane finish him, but everybody get involved. Early CS though, Chen is racking it up here. Ice is just focusing a little bit selfishly on him, but he's actually able to find himself some good stacking, or attempting to. Doesn't get the timing there, but he's able to get himself a lot of good creeps here in the jungle. So farming up very quickly and just focusing on getting level 5 or 6 pretty quickly so they can start pushing with the Hand of God. Up top, we're going to see a lot of damage come on Faith Beyond. He's going to have to charge forward onto Call, who has the Cold Embrace, but so many bashes! Oh my gosh! Beyond almost just got him through the PRD. But instead, it's going to be him going down. The neutrals almost getting themselves a nice little kill, but LT gives them a pat on the back, and Cole will be fine. So that was a close call, but it is going to be the second death for Wings, and it is going to be Insane Buster taking an early lead here. We're seeing a lot of double Ion Shell play here from Savior. Honestly, Dazzle is probably one of the worst heroes in this kind of situation. He can heal bomb the creeps to kind of keep the creequilibrium while the Darkseer is pushing out constantly. The Dazzle can be pushing back with the Shadow Wave, but he's not able to zone the Darkseer in the process. So it's always going to be Darkseer getting full experience on the lane. And you'll see, yeah, he's actually third in experience per minute right now. Surprisingly though, Chen is doing really well at 4th place in experience per minute. He's hit level 5, which means he gets 3 massive creeps to work with. At least he's supposed to. He lost the or did he send the Wild Wing home? I'm actually not sure what happened. Oh, there's another one waiting. So yeah, he lost 1 Wild Wing, but he's got a Troll and a Centaur, and he's got a very active set of creeps. This is nearly an ideal set of creeps. The only one you'd want on top is a Hellbear Smasher. So really good potential to gank, move around with this smoke, and of course farm with that splash damage. But look at Savior's positioning here. Very aggressive from him. He's got the help of his creeps, so it's no surprise that he's pushing so far forward, but we are seeing that little cowbell over here showing a potential charge, but the Dire see it very clearly, and the Darkseer will be just fine. Why is he still going? I don't know. But yeah. So in the midtime, we're going to see the Ring of Aquila come out onto the Templar Assassin. And as far as last hits in mid, it is going to be 34 and 4 for the TA over the 28 and 4 for the Shadow Fiend, because other than the most recent tornado from the Wild Wing Ripper, there's actually been no contribution from the Chen here on the mid lane, so by default TA takes that lane by storm. But now Chen's looking to get involved. Unfortunately, his first smoke will fail as the Darkseer went a very roundabout way to get home and then TP back. If he had stayed at low HP, or if he had gotten home a little bit more directly, then that could have been a really nice pickoff from the Chen. But instead he's going to go back to the jungle and focus on maybe bottom rune, as well as just, of course, building himself up to level 6. Probably going to go for the Arcane Boots early. Mechanism Rush is an option, though. It just depends on how well and efficiently you use your mana pool. We're actually going to see maybe a bait here. The Searing Chain should set things up very nicely, as they have now the Troll Trap to lock in the Darkseer. He'll try to surge, but he gets hit by the Centaur, and he will be destroyed by that Test of Faith. So that's actually a situation where the Centaur is a little bit better than the Hellbear, though usually in the early game that's quite the contrary. So either way, they get that kill. Very nicely done. And now LT is like, yeah, we probably need to drop a ward here to make sure that kind of play doesn't happen again. Spirit Breaker, though, I'm a little bit worried about. He actually has to take the mid lane from the Shadow Fiend in order to enable his team. He has to charge away here. He'll go ahead and charge right onto the TA, try to get the bounce back. But, yeah, it's the Dazzle to make sure that he's safe in zone. Either way, Spirit Breaker really hasn't gotten anything done here on top. And in fact, Slark is looking really good now. 1-0 and 1, as well as free farm. So, Shadow Fiend is at least clearing some camps with raises. There's a double stack with his name on it as well. But in the meantime, we've seen TA hit the hard camp to the east. Now she's stacking up her own Ancients. She's in a great position this game. Down bottom, though, going to be looking for another opportunity. This Centaur Warrunner Centaur Conqueror does not have much going for him in terms of health, but seems to be just enough to get the stun off, and they will get that kill. Wall of Replica doesn't do a damn thing to Chen's creeps, so they'll go ahead and stand looking at the image of the Ember. So now they go ahead, find that kill, nice combo, nice chain stun. A lot of abilities that ignore their Surge almost completely. Like, I almost say that you wouldn't even want a second point in Surge here, because you're not going to be able to run for that long. If you're using the full duration of Surge at level 2, which is 4.5 seconds, you're probably dead. So I would say probably just one time, but no matter the case. We're actually going to see TA steal the Radiant Ancients here, just clean up one little dragon, one little pesky dragon, and then claim the top room for the efficiency, while the Bane is going to go ahead and try to stack up and succeed in stacking up a triple stack for the Dire side. So, yeah, just great play from TA overall, 4180 on net worth. It's only this Chen that I would really say is the wow factor for Wings lineup right now. I mean, the Chen here has his Arcanes, he's going to get his Mechanism very soon, and it just comes down to timing. Actually goes for the double Centaur, double Troll, so he's in a fighting mode now. He's not farming, he's not harassing, this guy wants to find some kills, and he's got a smoke to do it. So we're going to see maybe a triple smoke. We'll see if the Shadow Fiend wants to go with him. But they definitely want to make their move soon. And they do actually smoke the Shadow Fiend, which is maybe not their intention. I think the Shadow Fiend wanted to stay out of that and keep farming. Now he's worried about revealing their intentions. Roshan is not really the target, though. They want to find this TA. They know she's going to be prioritizing these Ancients pretty soon, and they're going to stalk here. But it's actually just going to be the Bane that they find. Now, this is going to be a triple TP response. We'll see these creeps have to do some work here. They will get one stun, now two stuns from the Centaurs, but in the meantime, Dazzle's taking a lot of hits. Nice Hand of God, heals everybody back up, and we are going to see a huge Splinter Blast come out. Ember Spirit caught behind a wall, doesn't want to fight here. The Requiem actually going to be unveiled, and that's going to be Slark walking back and healing up with a Shadow Dance. Spirit Breaker charges in a little bit too late for the fight that could have actually happened. And now they don't really get too much out of it. They don't get a kill, they don't get a tier 1 tower. They will, execute really well. I feel like their individual skills usage was really good that fight, but in the end they haven't gotten anything just yet. They'll push, they'll pop the glyph, and Beyond's in a good position to get one spellcast off here. In fact, 2 if he gets the Mango. But all the same, tier 1 tower at 9.5 minutes is probably below the benchmark for a Chen. And at least it gets him the Mechanism. Oh, not entirely. He needs 500 gold still. So, just brings out the components and going to be looking to farm just a little bit more before they're really confident for the next play. In the meantime, Darkseer just pushing out the waves. 2 Iron Shells at a time, and that's going to actually bring him to almost the same progression towards mech that Chen has. He's still about 700 gold behind, which is quite a lot here at 10 minutes, but he'll get there. There will probably be only one fight where Wings have a mech advantage over Insane Buster. Oh, and Cole's so close to that ultimate too. Just looking at the current levels, you see level 5 on 3 different heroes, and the big ones are the Bane and the Wyvern. Weave isn't bad by any right, but it's definitely not the game changer that ability like Winter's Curse can be. Anywho, there are 3 big creeps here, so that's actually worth contesting here. It's not... All the little creeps have been farmed up by the TA already, but if they can snatch even just these 3 big creeps, they're probably going to be in a advantageous position in terms of net worth, which is now favoring them, but only slightly. With the tier 1 killed mid. They're going to try to push bottom as well. Ice still lacking the gold for that Mechanism. And Hand of God on cooldown. This could be a little bit dangerous, but for now, we do know that Slark is farming top, and that might give an advantage here to Insane Busters, or to Wings, since we saw what the Chen does to TPing heroes. Just goes for the stomp, goes for the smash, Oh, we're going to actually see these creeps dying. Ion Shell will kill off the Centaur. Splinter Blast and Ion Shell doing some good work, but now where's that Slark TP? He needs to back out, get a little bit of health, and now look for the Town Portal Scroll. But in the meantime, TA, she's farming up Ancients out of vision. And if they knew that she was so preoccupied, they absolutely would have gone further with this. But what they don't know will hurt them. And that is going to be IB, who get to still split the map and overall neutralize the experience momentum of Wings. Yeah, Wings will have more gold. They've gotten 2 tier 1 towers. But in the meantime, jungle play has favored the side of Insane Buster, as they were able to spread the map and get all that experience. So, avoiding the death by Requiem, we do see the TA just continuing her farming spree. Nice Psyblade usage here. And gonna have that Desolator in just 400 gold. In the meantime, Chen does finish up the mechanism, has the Hand of God, and he actually brings a Mud Golem into his arsenal as well, as he did lose his Centaurs in that last exchange. Second Dark Troll is okay, because you're up against Surge, but it's not the game changer that you really want. It's just a way to push a little bit harder with the skeletons and maybe get a little extra lockdown. Charging top. I think the Slark will know about it. As soon as he's not in Invis now, he's going to say, okay, well, there's somebody pursuing me that has sight of me, and he's going to go ahead and jump right out of there. Good ward up here, though. Breaking down all these trees and then putting obs up here actually gives so much vision. This is just Radiant Vision, but they see pretty much like every major avenue here with this current ward, so I really like that. It's obviously similar value to the one on the plateau, but with the added value that you're not going to get it de-warded. Yeah, so the trees breaking down for 5 minutes, that's going to be giving them even more information than they normally would have. Sanj picked up on Shadow Fiend early. I guess this is just so he can be the frontliner, since already there was a mechanism on Chen. You have that value picked up for your team, but the SF still wants to be naturally tanky, so he'll go for the Sanj before the Yasha, and that will allow him to stand throughout the fight. But we actually see down bottom there's going to be a little pick off here. Darkseer gets caught out hard. Just relying too heavily on the Surge to move around, but with these Chen creeps, he really can't do anything. There's so many stuns, so much lockdown. We're actually going to see, however, the Slark stalking on the Dazzle. Shallow Grave not going to be in time as the Brain Sap picks him up too quick. Call going to be caught a little bit by himself here. Does he go for the Winter's Curse on the Ember Spirit? No, the Centaur stun will lock him out. And now they're going to be totally reliant on this Fiend's Grip here. But Ice has the mechanism, has the Hand of God, only gets one off, then the Searing Chains cancels the Fiend's Grip. So Ice can Hand of God them all. LT will go down, and Slark now on the run. Has to buy himself time for Shadow Blade perhaps to get him out. But for now it's beyond charging onto the Slark. Gonna have to Shadow Dance for sure, and still gonna get hit by that little stun. So in some real trouble here. It's gonna be the Searing Chains that most likely finishes him. And Dazzle actually picks up the last hit. Innocence grabs himself some cool cash. Now they go into Roche. They've got one value point in the presence of the Dark Lord, and now they've got all these creeps that they can heal bomb with. Shadow Wave will hit up to 7 targets for 140 physical damage, and you see how fast Roshan falls when they all commit to it. Winter Wyvern wants to come in. He has the curse, but can it do anything here? Oh, so close. The Aegis is still there. He can get the Aegis. No! Shadow Fiend still picks it up. The Winter Wyvern falls. He just couldn't find it in that mess of creeps. Now it's going to be a TA with the Mel, but Sentry right on top of him will bring him down before Dazzle goes. That is a very unfortunate exchange for IB. I mean, Darkseer jumped into the pit with the wall vacuum, and then the rest just fell. That was actually an absolute disaster for them. They knew what was going on, but to contest it at that stage, it was just too little too late. Maybe if you snatch the Aegis with the Wyvern and don't commit with the Darkseer or the TA, you're in a better position, but none of that happened. It all gets turned around, and now 9-4 Wings have the advantage. And like I said, it's all about early momentum for their team. The Ember Spirit can still kind of take this late game, but they'd rather not. They definitely rather would just kind of focus on their own game and build momentum. There's going to be Slark on the back line here, looking for a quick pick. The Weave makes things difficult, but he's not ice armored up yet, so Slark distracts them. Definitely dodges to the east, but the tier 2 down in the hands of the Shadow Fiend. So top of net worth now is SF at 8,800, 8,760, whatever. And yeah, they pretty much just have full control of this situation. He's going to try to force a Requiem here, but The SF won't fall for it, and in fact, we're going to see a nice little steering chain pickup here onto Darkseer, who again will not be able to survive the burst output, and in fact is going to be pushed even further away from its mechanism. Nice little nightmare there to help out the Slark, but man, Insane Buster are just completely backs against the wall right now. TA needs to spread the map. She needs to push the tier 1 top. They need to get Wings' focus away from the Dire side. They need to start pushing and building enough momentum that Wings are on the defense instead of the offense. But at least for right now, it's a great position for Wings to be in. They are building themselves up very quickly, and even the Dazzle, who's buying so much in terms of observers and sentry wards, could theoretically pick up a Ghost Scepter pretty soon, and that's the item that can be his saving grace this game. In the meantime, Guardian Greaves doing a lot of work for the Chen, and for the team as a whole. Charge. Oh, the Mud Golem stun. Nearly setting up Beyond for a play, but I think he tried a Nether Strike out of charge, and he ended up breaking it without getting anything back. Up top, though, it is going to be the Ember Spirit who gets caught out here. Very nice quick jump. Just the Meld Strike and the Shadow Bladed Slark, breaking him down so quickly. 930 burst damage from this Deso.TA, due to the fact that Ember Spirit only has, looks like 9 armor actively when he has his Aquila Aura. So, in the meantime, Ice just going to get caught out here. Mud Golem, cancel it, Mud Golem! Takes a little bit longer than expected, and that means it's going to be a pounce coming in from the Slark. But who does he want? He wants the Dazzle. The Shallow Grave will come out in time, and he's going to move on to a new target. No TP for the Dazzle means no reason to waste your time, and the Invis Rune will not be enough to save him. So they go for the Chen instead. Now they've picked up 3 for nil, and they are starting to gain momentum back. A lot of good kills, a lot of good gold going their way, as you can see here. Just nice steps in the right direction, though they do pop a lot of ultimates for it. Alright, so we see the Slark Shadow Blading, trying to find the Shadow Fiend. If he gets this pounce, this could be a double kill against this SF. He doesn't get the Requiem off, but we are seeing Spirit Breaker and Ember try to participate. Tower will go down, and there's a big Nightmare on the Ember Spirit, but still he'll come in, and he'll try to get the chains. Only on Darkseer, that's unfortunate. Now it's going to be the Slark, though, who gets caught by a lot of damage. Is going to have to be Cold Embraced, only to fall to Raises. Now we see the push forward here on to Cole. Going to be bringing him down, though he will buy out with that amulet. Very back and forth, but now we see it's 12-7 favoring Wings, and I think they still get this kill. No, actually, gonna miss the Searing Chains at the last second there. That's very odd, very unfortunate. But anyways, it's gonna be a TP out for the TA as well, so it could have been worse for Insane Buster, but they are still looking to extend the game. Anything they can do to continue split pushing. I think that you need like a Winter Wyvern hiding in the trees, not backdooring necessarily, but cutting through creep waves and making sure that they can't reinforce the front line and break backdoor protection themselves. So yeah, I think you need some Winter Wyvern play in the trees. I think they need to just find ways to extend this game past the 25-minute mark, because right now everything's on track to end the game with the next Roshan, which is going to be here in 3 to 6 minutes. So, Insane Buster, their job is to get as many items as possible so they can start fighting, because right now 5-on-5 is almost disastrous. And that's saying something, considering they have the Winter's Curse, the Vacuum combos. The problem is, I would say, the Bane being so single target. Although he's played great this game, you can't follow up on a Vacuum the same way you could with like a Jakiro or a Lion or something like that.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh, Slark gonna find an opportunity here just on the Spirit Breaker, but he's got a lot of heroes behind him. We're gonna see the heal for now, both the Guardian Greaves and the Shadow Wave, but we're gonna see just a delay of game, a hit on the Shadow Fiend here. The Winter's Curse and the Fiend's Grip both popped. It will net a kill on the Spirit Breaker, but at the same time the TA goes down very quickly under the Requiem. And now Savior caught out by himself. That's 2 big kills for them in the fight. An amazing Searing Chains coming out from Shadow, making up for the ones he's missed before as they catch 2 within it. Can they finish off the Slark, though? He's getting some distance, and no, a medium range raise will not be doing the trick there. Actually, that was a long one, but still. Just too quick on his feet. This Slark does bounce out. Going for a BKB, very reasonable pickup considering what he's up against.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
now they'll just push here onto the tier 2. Slark farming bottom. Ember jumping right back to top. Only Chen out of the picture, and he still at least has a creep and the Hand of God. So he will be calling them home now. They want the Slark, but I don't think they get the Slark.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah,
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
I didn't actually know that, but even if you just see the shadow of the Slark due to charging a Shadow Blade, that's enough to break Shadow Dance. So that's actually pretty important for unique situations, minute opportunities. Slark will see the Shadow Fiend before the Shadow Fiend sees him, thanks to his improved night vision. And he's going to try to set up a nice little play here, but Chen, Dazzle both on the back line, ready to rock and roll, and they've even got a Sentry Ward to try to scout out the Slark. So instead the play is down bottom. Beyond should be going down pretty quickly. Yeah, Fiend's Grip committed to make sure he doesn't charge away. But that's a good clean kill, and will provide another delay of game against Wings. But Shadow, he wants some vengeance for a Fallen Comrade. He's got a Battle Fury, and he's pretty much got free reign thanks to this Invis Rune. Slark going to be able to Invis in just 2 seconds, but if they can chain it and Sentry it, that'll be enough. And BAM! Goes the Requiem. Kapow, as they say. That will be his death, and setting up for an easy Roshan if it does spawn. We'll see that timer here in just a moment. Well, if it's a short one, it favors Wings. If it's a long one, it favors Insane Buster. But in the end, he will be spawning eventually. 2 minutes and 43 seconds on that clock. Wings certainly aren't going to wait for that one. They're going to go right into the pit. NTA, still farming enemy Ancients. I like this play, but in the end, she has to come back and defend. And this is going to be a hard one. Oh my gosh, if that Searing Chain's connected, that could have been game losing. Like, you can just pick off a hero so easily in these situations where the Slark doesn't want to buy back. But for now, they're just hitting on the tier 3 tower. They're going to have all of their reinforcements, except for the Templar Assassin, who went top, showed vision, and got charged on. But luckily, the Blink Meld will keep her fine. And now, actually, it's going to be Wings who are on the run. They can't fight with only 3 heroes, and they're still looking for the TA. They charge to the bottom lane. That's not going to do enough. It is going to be a full disengage from the 2 teams. So, and IB just looking to cut the back line, find easier opportunities, and Radiant Observer Ward, oh, it doesn't see the TA until she walks north, and then they might go for another charge on her. Need a gem or dust on the Spirit Breaker, though. That's very important. So, relatively close game right now. Beyond's picked up himself a Hand of Midas. Dazzle got his Ghost Scepter, which, like I said, is huge. And they just got a gem. So Wings are going to have map advantage. They're going to have overall progression advantage for now. But there will be a point in this game where Slark just is too strong for anybody to deal with. And it's probably going to be 3 or 4 items. I would say VG.P, Shadow Blade, and Scotty before he really starts being menacing, and then even Abyssal Blade before he starts threatening this Ember Spirit. But if he gets those 4 items together, he actually can just carry this game on his shoulders. So, IB, they're still playing a waiting game, but they're not out of this just yet. Maybe get a Blink Dagger on the Darkseer, catch somebody off guard, and you've got yourselves some momentum. For now, though, the right choice was made with 2 BKBs. While BKB isn't the best item against Wings Gaming lineup, it's a very good item just to win fights for now. The 10, 9, and 8 second BKB charges just gives you so much that they're not really concerned about what happens after they lose half their BKB charges, or even if they're down to 5 seconds. They're really worried about the fights right here, right now, and so they're going to go ahead and just pick up these key items to keep alive and keep active. Slark going to be looking to lead the charge here. Oh, look at this army! Siege creep stolen by the Chen. But he's going to move in, Shadow Blading up, breaking the smoke under the center, going right on the Dazzle, who does have enough time to Ghost Scepter and Shallow Grave. But look at this Winter Curse onto the Shadow Fiend, massive damage onto the wall, vacuum, and this SF is going down with no Grave to save him. Dazzle gets clipped by the Splinter Blast, and Beyond stuck. He charged into trees. There's nothing he can do now. And BKBs were used, but if they get the Ember Spirit, very well worth it. He has nowhere to jump to, and he has no BOTs. This is going to be the death of Shadow. Try as he might, nice little Battle Fury play there. Bane gets healed back up, and That's going to be a 3-0. Huge swing forward here. We're going to look at this fight recap. See 1180 gold coming out for this Slark, and all of them gaining over 1,000 experience, except for the Wyvern. Late to the party, but no, a huge swing. And the Roche respawn couldn't be more perfect. Like I said, that late spawn really helping out Insane Buster. And now that they've taken that fight, they get a guaranteed Roshan. Aegis gives them 5 minutes of map control. The only thing that could have gone better is if they get the Gem of True Sight, but I'm not seeing where that actually ended up. Huh. Where did that gem go? I know Chen bought one.
Roshan has fallen to the dark.
Maybe...
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh, there it is. Woo! So I think the Radiant will be able to pick that up. They didn't sound a Courier out for it immediately. Maybe they assumed that it was grabbed, but... sometimes you just get so focused on one or two things in the fight that you miss one aspect. Another big aspect is that the gem was just purchased, so maybe they didn't even know there was a gem to look for. And sometimes your eyes just don't see what you don't know could be there. So anyways, Aegis on TA. Slark seems to have enough tools to survive no matter what. And Gem's still hanging out. The Radiant, Wings are absolutely under the assumption that it was stolen, that it was taken, and there's no way they're getting it back without fighting. But IB just didn't know to look for it, and it is still there, and it will be until somebody goes to farm this camp. And then I assume Wings will take it back. And that gem is huge. I was talking about it even in the drafting stage. That's how important it is to get gem control on Wing's side. But we're actually going to see a quick jump here. Shadowfiend gets a DD room, but at the cost of his life, a huge jump. The Shallow Grave will set up at least a Requiem. No, the Fiend's Grip delays it, and he does get nightmared out of it. He'll go down without a single thing accomplished, and they'll just clean up the creeps from here. Wow. Dazzle, Chen, all going down. Nice vacuum play there from the Darkseer, but of course, good catch out, just baiting the double damage rune. So the SF goes down quick. Suddenly, SF is down to 14 souls, and they're pushing down his high ground. How quickly the tables have turned. Ember Spirit's going to go for Lincoln, so it should be a lot harder to pick him off. There's no Force Staff just yet. There's actually going to be a Yule's on Bane. So that can break Lincoln's, but at shorter range. And Ember trying to bait somebody back with the split push play, but honestly, it's not worth even anything more than a support. He just hits the building so slowly. We'll just keep an eye on this melee Rex's HP, but it's just being barely poked at. And he's going to just TP back. Try to go for the Battle Fury defense. And with everybody respawning, that's enough to walk away. They just got a tier 2, a tier 3, and 3 more kills. They're happy to walk away with that. They're in a much better position in this game, actually zeroing out the net worth deficit and even further ahead in experience now.
I'll take that.
Dire's bottom barracks are under attack.
Scotty going to be the next item for Slark. No surprises there. Yule's on Bane, though, is pretty interesting, I will say. I guess you can take like the Spirit Breaker or the Dazzle out of the fight pretty early on, or at least combo it up with Nightmare and just try to keep them out of the fight as long as possible. I like it, but I guess the only other thing would be if you think you're just about to die as the Bane, you can self-Yules. It's like the easiest solution. Even if you're not silenced, you might not be able to get even a cast animation off on a spell. So go ahead and just self-Yules, reset, and you should be able to wand a Brain Sap from there. So, a lot of good values. Canceling TPs, probably one chief among them, but they're not canceling charges is what I meant to say, but all the same. Daedalus up for the TA. And there's no evasion on the side of the Radiant, surprisingly. Like, you have 2 heavy right-clickers in Slark and TA, but there's not even somebody working towards a Solar Crest. There's no butterflies, there's no crests. It's just gonna be Wings kind of trying to build up their health pool. This is the kind of item build that you would go against, like, a Queen of Pain or something. Not necessarily against all this physical right-click. Like, if you can start dodging the Slark, the TA, even your allies when they're hitting you during the Winter's Curse, you can have so much more effective HP, but Shadowfiend looks to go for the Scotty over the Butterfly. And obviously now going for a Butterfly, you're going to start looking at those MKB counters. We're going to see the Desolator TA just destroy these racks so quickly. I want to look at the timer real quick. It's going to be about 40 seconds before her Aegis expires, so they can go for one more creep wave with that still in their arsenal. And that might be enough to take even the melee racks here. Very important one, obviously. Blink Wyvern, also a pretty big deal here. Glimmer Cape to keep people alive, but the Blink Dagger to start the fight here. If they can just get the Shadow Fiend or the Ember Spirit, that could be game-breaking. As we see now, the TA taking some hits, but the Aegis is going down soon, and they want to keep her alive until it's about to pop. A little bit of lag here, but we'll see the TA still looking to get at least the regen rune out of the Aegis, but we're going to see Shadow take a lot of damage from that Melt Strike, have to jump out as quickly as possible, and Shadow Fiend getting graved up in the nick of time. Both ultimates from dire supports used. IB can only find the Shadow Fiend just now, but the Spirit Breaker looks to be caught out as well. No. Gets healed up. The Splinter Blast won't be enough, and in fact, he looks to turn with the charge. Great damage coming out from Shadow. They clean up 3, including the TA, who never got to use her Aegis, and now the Slark gets isolated as well. It's a double kill for Beyond, but it's a hell of a set of kills for Wings as a whole. They really needed those kills. And yes, sorry that Perfect World decided not to play nice at that exact moment. Really made it much harder to see what was going on in that fight, but Ember Spirit just did so much damage. 2 Sleight of Fists, a couple crits in each, and you're suddenly looking at 2,600 damage from this hero. While they focus everything, I think both the Fiends and the Winter's Curse on the same target there. I couldn't see the animations for all of it, but I'm pretty sure they doubled up on some of their spells. But yeah, as a whole, great defense from Wings in a position where they really shouldn't be able to. The damage from the Ember Spirit is still immense in a high ground defense position. So many creeps and stuff to, even the Wild Replica illusions to cleave to during that slight allows him to really put out some considerable damage with the slight. The problem is that they don't have the control for that. They have single target disables across the board unless the Chen pulls out some miraculous stuff. Chen is going to be going for the Aghanims. That does allow him to go for Ancients, but still working on these Siege Creeps right now, which have a minimum HP, I guess, of 1,000? No. I guess I can just look at tooltips, can't I? We raise to the minimum health. Okay, minimum health is 1,000. So yeah, the Siege Creeps get a little bit more than they normally would. I think 100 more. But even still, they're not that much more menacing in terms of breaking down the base, unless they get to like smoke in and find an opportunity to just keep on sieging. The lag is real, guys. This is not the stream. I'm not dropping any frames. It is just the Chinese server over to me, bringing forth the Kale. A lot of Iron Shells here on mid. They really just want to find one little pick, and it could be Shadow. One spell could completely define the next 5 minutes, perhaps the rest of the game. It all comes down to finding that catch, but they don't have any vision on the high ground. They're not willing to go anywhere near the Radiant base. They're instead going to spread. Come on, servers. Hold it together. We can do this. Gems back on Dazzle. That was the gem that they picked up before from here. That was just a lucky find for them, just in the random time where they were passing through the jungle. Slark, so close to Scotty, but needs to complete it for the real value of that item. Being able to stay on target with the movement and attack speed slow. Nice ice, close to the Ags, not there yet. I think he buys out for it. I mean, he doesn't have buyback anyways, and he's using it almost entirely unreliable gold, so yeah, I would say just go ahead and buy the Scepter itself and see what you can do with the Ancient Creeps there. But in the meantime, hunting through the Radiant jungle under an Observer Ward is going to be Insane Buster. So Wings look to bait this, look to counter gank. And where can they go? Can they smoke wrap the traditional northern flank when the tier 2 gets pressured, or do they have to go right on the front line here? We're going to see that charge. Slark doesn't know about it just yet until he backs off, but it's going to be too late as we do see the charge connect. Nether Strike onto Slark, pulling him back into a really bad spot, and they're committing very little to bring him so low, but he gets healed up by the Guardian Greaves, he gets the Shadow Blade away, and that will heal him up to full. They didn't want to go in all at once, or the Wyvern would have torn them apart. In the end, it's just going to be a lot of TPs as everybody heads home. So, I'm wondering what the next play is. They can't really catch out Insane Buster, it seems. They're always ready to back off the second a fight breaks out, and Slark just got way too tanky when he finishes his Scotty. Still no progression. His items just keep on staying exactly where they are. You expect the Slark to farm a little bit faster, but you'll see he's actually really low on last hits. While the Templar Assassin has been all over the map, ratting it out, doing 342 CS. The Slark is down at 169. That's less than the Darkseer is. Maybe a little bit less Ion Shell would help the Slark do its job. But we're going to see an attempted Melt Strike here, as well as another. But it looks like to be a disengage again. Oh, Slark walking into him. They have the gem on Dazzle, so they're going to try to catch him out here. Now they're striking him back into their team, but there is potential for a Winter's Curse. Blinking in. No, the Wyvern can't get there in time. And instead will blink away. No buyback on the Slark right now. He's so close to Scotty. Now so far away. Oh, that gem. And the Slark just walking into 5. Checking into the tree as the line of sight. The Fog of War kills him. Enfeeble is maxed out here, so we do see a lot of damage lost on Shadow. In fact, all of his bonus damage of 120. But even still, the Ancient Creeps are tanky enough to withstand a lot of the hits from TA. They have the armor, and they're popping the Frenzy, trying to do what they can. Now we're going to see Spearbreaker charge in, looking for the Bane. Would be a great target to stay glued to, but they keep their focus. They don't dive too deep. They want at least one Rax out of this, and looks like the range one is what they're going to take. Can they get both, though? That's the real question. With the Enfeeble, it's been slowing them down quite a bit. They take the melee, they will take the range, and now they just have to get out before Call locks them down. He's got the Blink, he's got the Curse, but Slark isn't respawned just yet. Can they get anything for this? But no. And in fact, a Dazzle Blink Dagger, of all things. I guess just for the longest range Shallow Grave you can imagine. I mean, already Shallow Grave is a pretty wide range, but adding 1200 to it will make it so that if the target isn't bursted down too quickly, you can always save them. Dire have a good Observer Ward here outside the pit. Gonna be moving in with the Slark on the front line here. Dazzle's gem is not gonna see him for a while. And this might be a way to catch him out. I will note that S and Y was now disassembled for Manta Halberd, and then can be disassembled later for Butterfly if you wish. But for now, both sides keeping an eye on what's going on in the pit here. And it's actually going to be TA jumping in, killing a creep real quick, and forcing the engagement. Even if they can't get Roshan here, they want to get the fight, and it's going to be Cull that has the advantage. If he can get a Winter's Curse onto Shadow Fiend right here, this could be the game. Cull going in, looking for it. He gets it onto Shadow, the Ember Spirit. They need to focus him down harder. He's going to get graved. If he gets a moment later, he jumps to the side away from everybody focusing him down, and instead gets nightmared by the Bane. Nobody's gone down yet, still all alive, and not even a grave forced out, as the Slark gets caught on the cliff and has to pounce down. Now it's so spread out. Spearbreaker being chased by the Templar Assassin. Ember Spirit at half HP. The Dazzle must be out of his mind trying to find the right target to heal, to save, but it is going to be the charge onto the Slark. He's not Shadow Dance regenning as a result, and now the gem's in range. They catch him with the chains. Dark Pact gets him a little bit away, but they can't get away entirely. Now it's going to be Wings to run down IB. Slark down with dieback again, or not dieback, but no buyback. And that is going to be also cleaning up the Bane and the TA. That could be the game breaker as they go for the tier 4s. Looking for one more. Shadow's so damn fast. And he gets the chains, but the Guardian Greaves will take it away. Blink, put on cooldown by the urn. And to the base they go. Don't dive the base. Just take the racks. Take the tier 4s. But no, it's the TA buyback that puts Shadow down to 1 HP from the grave. He'll try to BOT away. He gets it. But now there's 4 heroes in the middle of a base up against a monster of a Templar Assassin. The Shadow Fiend has to really keep his allies covered with that Heaven's Halberd. Buyback on the Wyvern seems important right now. He's got the Winter's Curse in 15, but even just Splinter Blasting would be really nice now. Looks like he'll hold on to it. He wants to go in with his full arsenal. They say, we can lose tier 4s, we can't lose the throne. So he's going to wait the 10 seconds, and he's going to Winner's Curse then. No real catch right now. The Yules can't get in range. And Darkseer can't find the Vac back. Oh, he gets 2 inside the wall. They get the Yules as well. And Winter's Curse is going to be TPing right outside the base, right onto the Shadow Fiend. The creeps are attacking him, but where's the rest of the damage? Slark is coming in, maybe too little too late. The Darkseer is already so low. And the TA now needs to focus on a single target with the TA. Oh, Dazzle popping the Ghost Scepter, getting away, still has that Shallow Grave. Will pop it on Shadow just in time! Templar Assassin now being killed. That's her down for the count with that dieback, and the Slark goes down as well. That's going to be GG. Oh, they tried to make it perfect, but with the Dazzle, Ghost, Blink, they just couldn't single out a target. Even the Ember Spirit, who got caught by the Winner's Curse in the bottom rune fight, in the Roche fight, he was able to live just long enough to Slight and Remnant to the north, and from there he didn't even need a grave to survive. I thought he was actually screwing himself over by changing the Dazzle's targeting and preventing the grave, but no, he had himself covered. Stays mobile, stays alive. They kite through the Templar Assassin, the Slark, and what would be more scalable heroes at the 42-minute mark just can't find their quarry. And of course, on top of that, the Slark never found his Eye of Scotty. CS count was pretty abysmal, I gotta admit. 170 on the Slark player. A lot of it stolen by the TA, by the Darkseer. And no Midas. Like, you can be third in last hits on your team if you have the Hand of Midas to kill the Chen creeps, to expedite your experience gains, to make sure you reliably have gold income. But that's not what we got to see here. It was Slark that just got underfarmed, didn't have the key items. The Scotty, huge for those fights, and died so many times just on the cusp of reaching it. Well, that's going to be wrapping up game number 1 of this best of 2. Wings Gaming are able to win it out in the end here. A lot of really good early game momentum and some astoundingly powerful late game potency. Really good stuff from them. Can't wait to see what Wings brings to game 2. And IB, maybe this is time for some of the wild stuff that I've seen in a few of their other drafts. So, once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in to Starletter, iLeague, and it's been an absolute pleasure to be able to broadcast on behalf of Beyond the Summit here. I myself am Blaze. You can follow me on Twitter at BlazeCasting. Throw some criticism my way if you didn't like it. If you did, well, praise is nice to hear on occasion as well. But we're going to be going into Game 2 without much further delay. A few minutes and we'll be seeing the conclusion of this Best of 2 series. And then one more match to close it out for the night. Once again, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys in a little bit for Insane Buster versus Wings.